Hello, it's Michael and this week's theme is film and TV. I am quite the film nerd. I get quite passionate and obsessed about some films to the point where I even make parodies on my own versions and films. Well, I used to do that when I was younger, but that's kind of faded out now. But I used to be quite passionate about it. To the point where for a few years I was certain I was going to work in the film industry. Then I've obviously had the crushing realisation that I'll probably spend the rest of my life flipping burgers and McDonald's for minimum wage and die young and crap and lonely. But that aside, I thought I'd give you a better insight of who I am by showing you the films I watch. You can obviously tell a lot about a person by the film they watch. So here's my top 10 films. Just a quick notice, these films are in no particular order. These are just my top 10 films I like to watch. Not necessarily even my favourite ones, just like some films which I really like and I think that you should try and watch at some point in your life. So, go! Number 1. The Big Lebowski. I watched this film for the first time last night. It is absolutely amazing. The Big Lebowski basically follows around the dude. He's given the job of handing over a ransom after he comes into contact with a millionaire whose daughter has been kidnapped. Obviously, being a slacker he is, he tries to scheme to steal all the money, all $1 million of it, and obviously everything goes wrong, and it's a really good film, and please check it out. Woo! Number 2, Fight Club. If you haven't seen this film, then I'm very disappointed in you, because this film is an absolute masterpiece. You have to let it sink in for a few minutes after the film to truly understand what just happened. It's amazing, so please, if you haven't seen this film, take a few hours out of your time, just try and find it, watch it, enjoy it and embrace it. It is an absolutely amazing film.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
3. Pulp Fiction. This is an awesome film. It's so cool. Directed by Quentin Tarantino, so you know it's A, going to be kick-ass, and B, it's going to have one of the best soundtracks known to man. Again, with most Tarantino films, this does have quite dark humour. It's not like laugh out loud, but you will be laughing inside. It is actually a really good film, so please check that one out. And here's a scene.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped it?
Oh, what the fuck's happening? Oh,
man,
shit,
man! Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
Well, I didn't mean to do it as an accident.
Numero 8. Trainspotting. Directed by Danny Boyle, which you probably know for Slumdog Millionaire, follows the tribulations of a group of heroin addicts in Scotland. Now here's a nice demonstration of how heroin works. Oh yeah. Heroin. It's good heroin. That's how heroin works. This film is pretty damn traumatizing. It involves a dead baby and a baby, well, the same baby, crawling on a ceiling and dropping into a man's face. Anyway, yeah, check it out. It is actually a very good film. Number 5, American Psycho. This film really is not for the faint of heart or squeamish people. It's very, very brutal, but at the same time, an absolutely great film. Basically plays on the image of the Wall Street banker, you know, New York, all uptight, rich, all up himself, and he murders people in his free time. Ha! Again, this is probably the darkest humour you can get. I mean, this film is hilarious at times, but it's not the kind of like, oh, lol, hilarious. It's subtly playing on stereotypes, which makes it very interesting. And here's a great clip from the film, which probably will give you an idea of how it's styled.
In '87, Huey released this, 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul! Ah!
Number 6. Old Boy. Now this is slightly weird. It's a Korean film, so, you know, of course it's going to be weird. But, basically, a man is captured against his will and placed in a room for 10 years, and when he's set free, he has 3 days to find out who captured him before he gets killed. I think anyway. It's been a while since I've watched this, so sorry if it's a bit loose. But it features one of the most amazing fight sequences ever. It's basically 4 minutes long, it's one cut, it's one guy taking on about 50 or so, and it's absolutely amazing. So here's a quick snippet of that fight scene. Now. Number 7. Inception, or as you may know it, the film what made my brain hurt. I'm going to be honest here, you know Inception, you've probably seen it, it probably fucked you over in the brain several times and then raped your nan. No, that's not very nice now, is it? But anyway, really, do I need to say anything about this film? You've probably seen it, it is a great film, and if you haven't, you're missing out. You need to watch it at least twice to understand it, because it is so confusing. But, yeah, that's it. Number 8, from one of my favourite directors of all time, Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead. Yeah! This film is hilarious in like every sense of the word. It is brilliant, it is beautifully crafted, actors spot on. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are my 2 favourite actors of all time as well. But this film, phenomenal. This film had a very, very small budget, but what it did have, it was charm, character, and everything that you want in a film, to be honest. It didn't overdo special effects, it was all pretty much done on the cheap, to be honest, but it is an absolutely fantastic film. And again, this one you will have seen because it's on ITV every other weekend, to be honest. And if you haven't seen it, again, you're missing out. Just check it out.
Yeah, boy!
Number 9, Snatch. It's another British film, absolutely fantastic. It takes place in London, South London, obviously, so you got all the Cockneys, alright, hey! And basically all trying to find a single diamond. But this has got some of the most hilarious pieces of dialogue that you will never understand in your life. Because it's all in Pikey, which if you don't know is Yarders language, or if you don't know who Yarders is, Gypsy language. If you want to know what that sounds like, here's a quick glimpse.
Problem with pikeys or gypsies.
What are you doing, Potter? Get out the way back.
You can't really understand much of what is being said.
You tell me. Come about the Catherine.
Mr. O'Neill.
Fuck, man. Tell me, Mickey.
It's not Irish. It's not English.
How are you?
Fair, what is my kindness for the horses, you know?
It's just, well, it's just pikey.
And finally, number 10, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. This film is great. It's a hilarious film. It's got one of my favourite comedy actors of all time in it, Steve Carell. And basically it's just one of the funniest films you'll ever see in your life. Most of the laughs do come from one character, his name is Brick. So here's a clip showing off Brick.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that. Brick killed a guy. Did you throw a trident?
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
Brick, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You should find yourself a safe house or a relative close by. Lay low for a while, because you're probably wanted for murder.
And that's that for the film part of the video. Now on to TV, which is something I in general try to avoid. I see it as a big waste of time, even though I do have a massive TV right there, which is rarely used, which is kind of a shame, but something I try to avoid. I try to focus my time on other things, for example, the internet, which is obviously much more productive. Although, saying that, I do actually watch a lot of American TV, because I feel the quality is quite a lot higher than a lot of British programming. So here's my favourite TV shows. Recently I've been watching a lot of How I Met Your Mother. I don't really know what got me into this, but it's like kind of the Friends of the now, if that makes sense. I also tried to get into Lost at one point. That is confusing as fuck. I think I got 5 episodes off the last ever episode. I just gave up, which is probably not a good idea because I spent all that time watching it. Gone to waste. Hey. Another one of my favourite TV shows is Weeds, which is about a mother whose husband dies and she has to try and fund her family herself, so she resorts to dealing drugs and growing marijuana. It's actually a very interesting film. If you ever manage to get hold of it, I don't know if it's anywhere here on any programme, but please do watch it. It's a very interesting programme. I'm a bit batshit right now because the storylines always do in American TV shows. They like start off cool and then it goes whoa, but that's how it is. Another favourite of mine is Breaking Bad, about a dad who finds out he has cancer, but he wants to leave a nice amount of money for his son to live off, so what he does is he resorts to making meth. Methamphetamine, for those who are slightly more sciencey. But another one, kind of like Weeds, but much more compelling. The actors are brilliant. It's got that guy from Malcolm in the Middle, you know, the dad, except he's bald and scary as fuck. I don't think I've given British TV enough credit so far in this video, so here's a few of my favourite British TV programmes. Of course, we've got the obligatory IT Crowd and Top Gear, but a few older favourites of mine being Spaced and Big Train, both starring Simon Pegg. Comedies, Spaced you've probably just not heard of. Big Train, I'd be really surprised if you heard of that, but both really good TV shows. Not on TV, haven't been on for like 10 years, but if you can, just go on YouTube and check them out.